Okay, so we finally got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4 Remake is out now. I've been making a lot of YouTube videos on my main channel, on my secondary channel, talking all about it, playing it on stream. But Tony Hawk has given a few interviews about the game. I thought it was kind of funny that they're so mainstream. BBC News. I'm pretty curious to see Tony Hawk's demeanor to BBC News. We got ESPN LA as well. And some other random ones. So I thought let's watch this, definitely this BBC one. I'm very curious to see what they say.
Is it a bummer that we weren't invited or they didn't include us? Absolutely.
We're at London Zoo to find a hawk, but not a normal hawk.
Oh, this is the full vid?
Hey, what's up? I'm Tony Hawk, pro skater. That is literally my occupation and the name of a video game.
We spoke to the pro skater about what we can expect from the 3 and 4
The
remakes,
pro skater.
why Alien Ant Farm were removed from the soundtrack, and
Oh!
is it going to be at the Olympics? Stay tuned for a BBC exclusive.
Damn, they hit that with the CKY soundtrack.
Get to talk about this game, by the way. I love this game. Loved it when it came out. Love it now. Was playing a bit last night, and it was all the memories came rushing back. It's just like I'm transported back.
Oh, I'm
it's
glad.
amazing.
Thank you.
How did you go about selecting the skaters for 3 and 4, and were there any that really blew you away in the process?
Oh, wow. Well, I was trying to keep it modern, obviously, while still respecting the legends that we had in the previous games, and also it was a matter of who is still actively skating, who is still in the scene, it's a delicate balance. But I'm really excited to have people like Chloe Covell, to have
Shout out Chloe, Australian,
from Brazil, and Andy Anderson. Honestly, like he's has this amazing, unique style. He's doing things no one else has ever done, and I'm so thankful to have his input in the game.
One person who very nearly did.
But see, like, such glaze for Andy, but why do we make him a secret character? I feel like a secret character is sort of like less status than a main character. So, like, out of the people he decided to shout out, he shout out to Andy, but then he's like a secret character you have to buy with in-game currency.
And
I thought that was kind of a weird decision.
Input in the game.
One person who very nearly didn't make it in was Bam, but then last minute there was a little bit of talk.
BBC with the heavy hitting questions. Let's go. I'm actually very curious to see how he answers this.
That you actually had a word about it yourself.
Let's just say I strongly encouraged it, and it was definitely in the later process of doing the game. I'm thankful that it happened, but he happened to be in town near me in San Diego. We connected and skated one day, and I realized that he was just in a really good place. He was focused on skating. He was focused on staying healthy, and I could tell there was just a shift in Bam with where he was in life. And so I immediately hit up Activision and said, I think we should reconsider Bam with the game. And they said, can he come tomorrow and get scanned?
Wow.
And Bam said yes.
That's awesome. Is that why that we don't get to hear any particular like vocal acting from him when he falls off?
Whoa. Okay, so my other big criticism of the game is that none of the skaters had any vocal acting. So it's very interesting that she is saying Bam doesn't have vocal acting when none of them do. So I'm curious to see how Tony responds to that too.
Is that why that we don't get to hear any particular like vocal acting from him when he falls off the board or anything?
That's probably a big reason, yes. Yeah. I can't speak to what he did in the recording studio, but that's probably why. It was, let's just say it was a scramble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what a payoff. In terms of other people that have come along as well, we have to mention Jack Black being in the game as well. How did that come about, and how does that feel getting him back?
Well, Jack Black has been a fan of THPS series since the early days. In fact, they used to do a skit. I saw Tenacious D live a few times, 20 plus years ago, and he actually did a skit based on the game in their concerts. So,
damn, that's pretty sick.
When he heard,
why have we never seen Jack Black and Tony interact? There was only that very minor Barracks video. How come there's no other, or maybe I'm wrong, how come they haven't interacted more?
We were doing the re-release. He was excited about it.
Jack does skate like a little bit, kind of like longboarded.
Video just of us playing together, and then I approached the idea that maybe he would be a secret character, and I said, what do you think about being Officer Dick, who's now Constable Richard, for obvious reasons? And he said,
Wait, what? It's not Officer Dick in 3+4? I thought it was. Did I not pay attention? Constable Richard? Why can't we just have it as Officer Dick? My neighbor's name was Dick when I was a little kid. And I go, hey Dick, what's up? When I'm a little kid. Isn't that just fine as his name?
Be a secret character. And I said, what do you think about being Officer Dick?
Dick is, I thought Dick is, it is though. I guess he's saying Constable Richard is his like formal name.
Constable Richard.
I thought it does say Dick
for
in the game.
Reasons. And he said, I was born to be Officer Dick. Those were his exact words.
The soundtrack has always been a cornerstone to the series. How do you balance...
What up, Sean? So I think she's going to hit with another heavy question. I believe it was Alien Ant Farm was put out an article saying that they were kind of bummed that they didn't get to return in the game. I believe there was only like 10 original songs that returned, and then they added new songs. I can understand this, licensing, all this bull stuff. Like 20 years later, like things change, you know? But I'm curious to see what the journal says.
Nostalgia of the soundtrack, as well as giving the opportunity to new artists.
As best I can. I would say my input into the original soundtracks was all the early stuff, early punk rock, hip hop, ska. I mean, that was the soundtrack to skate parks when I was growing up. The relatively newer stuff, especially in those days, was more Activision's music department, but they understood that it aligned with the same sound. These days, just what I think is fits and what I'm interested in. I'm not the only decider in these soundtracks, but I did manage to throw a couple of bands in there that I was stoked, like Fontaine DC, Idols, an old one, X-Ray Specs. So those were three. They're definitely my personal input. And I also picked songs by artists that were already in the game, but a different song. And not everyone agreed with that decision, but I feel like let's keep it fresh.
Interesting.
And also here's help discovering other music. I mean, I think that was
I don't want to be negative, right? But when they say let's keep it fresh when they've made 2 remasters in a row, it's like, okay, I guess. But we just on the second remaster right now.
In the beginning, that's what people expected of it. Once the soundtrack was a prominent part of the game, people were like, okay, what are you going to throw at us now?
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah,
like
that's true. Is like he hit it so hard in 1 and 2 that he could never, ever live up to the hype of like keeping the soundtrack being so like cutting edge. I feel like 1 and 2 were just too good that like basically the soundtracks from then onward, it never hit quite as hard.
an underground radio show.
So I have to ask, I was at Download Festival recently and spoke to Alien Ant Farm, and I asked them how they felt about Wish being removed from the soundtrack.
Is it a bummer that we weren't invited or they didn't include us? Absolutely.
I wasn't zeroing in on them per se.
Dang, I didn't know there was a clip. I also don't know what Alien Ant Farm looks like. I mean, like, what else can Tony say? Is it a bummer? Yeah, sure. I'm curious to hear what can he really say there.
I wasn't zeroing in on them per se. It was more that we're trying to make room for new acts and new songs as well, and not everything makes the cut. It's nothing personal, and I appreciate that people have a fondness for that song, especially that in relation to our game. So, you know, just fire it up on your streaming service if you're so inclined.
The Olympics are coming to LA in 2028, and your impact on the sport, on skateboarding as a sport, cannot be understated. Being in your home.
What? Oh, the accent got me. I thought you said 2020, but you said 2028.
Sport on skateboarding as a sport cannot be understated. Being in your home state, how does that feel like now that it's an officially part of the Olympics?
The Olympics in LA is going to be an insane experience. For the rest of the world to come to LA and like hold up the postcard of Venice Beach and then take it down and then realize what it's actually like, they're going to be like, whoa, what? The Olympic venue right next to terrible things? I don't know what's going to happen. I went to the Olympics in Paris and they were saying they really cleaned up the city of Paris, but I don't know if they can clean up LA that much. Like, I honestly like don't believe that they can. It's such a big place. So like, I'm very curious to see like what happens for the 2028 Olympics. Like, I truly don't know what's going to happen.
Well, it's about time. I feel like it's long overdue, and I think that in recent years, the Olympics needed skateboarding's cool factor more than we needed their validation. So, but I'm thankful it's there. I got to go to Tokyo. I got to go to Paris. For me, it's just a source of pride, and the idea that it's coming to LA is even more amazing. But I love that it fosters international growth. So to have it come to LA, yes, that's cool because it's somewhat the birthplace of modern skateboarding. But I like that it's been in all these other countries as well. If I had any say in it, we would have vertical half-pipe skating as a discipline. Never say never.
Dang.
Awesome. So with it coming to LA in a couple of years.
I love how he said vertical. I feel like vert is the official term. I believe the reason that they don't put vert in the Olympics, because to me, I feel like park it's like, okay, have a street comp and then they have a park comp. I feel like park is kind of vert, but kind of not. I feel like it would make way more sense to just have vert. But I believe the reason that they say they don't is Olympics has some kind of like eligibility thing where it's like, okay, we can only have sports that every continent has access to. And I think there's some continents that have 0 vert ramps. So if you have a 0 vert ramps in the whole continent, then you can say like, well, that's not really going to fly. But they do have skate parks, so they can have, and they have streets. So they can have street and they can have park, but they can't have a vert comp. But like you said, never say never.
Years time, have you been approached to be involved in the opening ceremony in any way? And if you were, would you want to do that?
You're the first person that's even said anything about that, so I appreciate the thought. Yes, I would do it for sure. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for your time. It's been
That would
brilliant
be sick.
speaking to you.
No, thank you. You too.
Skate over the torch. That was pretty good. Honestly, that was she had good questions. She like had all the hard-hitting questions. I thought it'd be more of a softball, but that was sick. He did a couple more interviews. Should we skim the other ones? ESPN.
Do I even have to say it? The legendary Tony Hawk, I appreciate you again for allowing me to be here. I didn't mention this, and I also...
How do I get on this PL list? How do I get on the PL list to interview Tony Hawk for the game?
I'm 27, so grew up...
Me too!
1997, so I grew up playing these games, of course, the PlayStation, the original one, playing Pro Skater 1 and 2. 3 and 4, though, arguably maybe like some of the greatest just video game releases ever. What was yours?
All right, I'm going to judge this man harshly on his first question.
I can't.
If it's too glazing, I'm out.
All of them. If, when people ask me about, especially back in those days.
We're missing one. Which one are we missing, dog? We're missing my favorite one. I mean, technically we're missing HD and Shred, but we're missing my favorite one, Tony Hawk's Ride. Why isn't it on the list?
What's your favorite game? I always just say the most current because I felt like we just kept improving on what we had done, and the consoles kept getting better. And so I do feel like these two games are iconic to the series, and a lot of people remember them fondly. But everyone has an opinion.
Everyone, right?
Yeah,
they do indeed.
Honest, Underground might be mine.
I hear that a lot, but that's what I was trying to hold back on.
Yeah.
But, I love these. I love the format of these too.
Right.
And some of these levels and maps are some of my favorites, honestly. It was hard to get two completely different types of gameplay in one package here. So obviously 4 leans towards more 2-minute challenges, but you can just roam around and do whatever you want.
Right.
And you're definitely going to encounter characters that will
open world mentioned.
So there's a little bit of everything. But I understand the concern, and I think everyone's going to be pleasantly surprised.
Okay, I like to hear that.
Okay.
Pleasantly surprised. Speaking of surprises, I don't know how much you can give away, but some of my favorite parts of growing up with Pro Skater was the unlockable characters, and we can get into some of our skaters, modern skaters who will be joining, but just for a personal tidbit, are we seeing anybody that maybe we saw in the originals?
Tony Hawk loves a neutral politician answer. I mean, yeah, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think Tony Hawk, as Tony Hawk, absolutely should always be media trained fence sitter life. Like, why? Why not, I 100% back that for Tony Hawk. I don't think Tony Hawk should be saying controversial stuff, making strong stances. I think he's our amazing skate ambassador, universally loved. Just sit on the fence and say media trained stuff. I think that's perfect. That's great.
You are going to see unlockable.
I have no issue with that.
I love it. I love it.
We got to have some element of surprise here.
That's true. That's true. We can't give you guys everything away before July 11th. One of the skaters who really revolutionized skating, almost the godfather of street, Rodney Mullen.
Yep.
Seeing him here tonight, what does that mean to you, and just what is someone like that just mean to you in general, as like a mentor, as a friend?
I
feel like this is an interesting question because they kind of were the same age. I guess Mullen was only a tiny bit older than him, I think.
We're so lucky to have Rodney in skateboarding.
Right.
You know, he paved a way of skating, created a way of skating that
Jamie Foy.
It was like unlike anything else. It was so far ahead of its time that most of us didn't even understand it or appreciate it as much as we should have.
That's actually true. Homies like doing a kickflip and they're just like, what's this fool doing over there? That'll never take off. I mean, it obviously wasn't that negative, but that's actually a good point. I've never heard someone say that before.
I mean, he's to thank for, you know, anytime you go and try to flip your board, it's probably one of Rodney's tricks that he created. Besides that, he's just really, he's a joy to be around. He exudes this energy that's just, he's thankful, and he wants to champion skateboarding in general, and he wants people to understand how important it is for people like him and me, and how it not just changed our lives professionally, but changed our lives in terms of finding a new way to live and finding a new path and an approach to solving problems. And I feel like Rodney he's the most poignant in terms of how he speaks about it.
No, exactly.
He's a philosopher.
A skating philosopher is exactly what I was going to say.
I'm more like a cheerleader, and he's a philosopher.
Well, if you are one of the best. But I got to ask, you know, you mentioned a way of approaching things, a way of...
Yeah, it's interesting, like Brian says, he was not liked by the gatekeepers of his day, which was unfortunate. Tony Hawk got insanely bullied. Tony Hawk's first 5 years in skating and going to competitions and stuff, he got insanely bullied. So it's kind of funny to see how it's turned around now, you know? I feel like maybe that kind of kept Tony Hawk seems pretty level-headed and humble. I feel like just the brutalization of getting bullied so unbelievably hard at the start maybe kind of helped him get there now.
Almost living.
A lot of people don't know that though, especially casual skaters.
Like you and Rodney and a lot of these skaters, Kareem, you guys have kind of shown a whole new generation, not just a new generation, multiple generations, a new way of life and just a way of kind of approaching life freely. I
feel like this guy's nervous. I would be nervous too if I was in a setting like this.
Was that always in your nature, just growing up in San Diego? Something about just being free and showing that to the world?
No, I think if you were to enter our mindsets, it's the exact opposite. We were so stubborn.
Maybe the fence sitting / being positive came from that. Nah, it came from when he became a mainstream celebrity in the early 2000s, I think. I feel like back then you become mainstream celebrity, they want you to be sort of mainstream appeal. Why would you start trying to not be mainstream appeal as Tony Hawk?
To get better at skateboarding, that we were locked in it. Wow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, it's our form of expression, it's our form of creativity, it's our form of freedom in a lot of ways, and our escape. But at the same time, we obsess on it so much that sometimes we're just stuck in the mode. And I did it through thick and thin. I did it when I was making a decent living at it. I was doing it when I wasn't making any money doing it. And then I was doing it when I, made more money than I ever dreamed.
Yeah.
But the priority always has been just the skating. And you could, same
That's
same
true.
with Kareem, same with Rodney. Obviously, we learned how to navigate adult life and the real world and obligations and careers and things. But for all of us, it was all about the skating.
Yeah, skating just as a lifestyle. And it's shown in this game here and in the soundtrack. Every component of it just shows that lifestyle that we're talking about here. Kareem, we just mentioned him, one of the most unique styles. And there's so many unique styles in this game. The ghetto bird and all that type of the push even is unique. I don't want to ask you what's your favorite style, of course, but when it comes to putting that type of thing into a game, what is that process like? For those who maybe didn't.
All right. Let's see this next one.
I'm excellent, thank you.
You think this is the same day, actually? Oh yeah, same day as this one.
It's really cool to have this opportunity to chat with you, because I'm into your series, into your sporting career so long, so deep, and it's really cool to meet you in person.
I appreciate it, you too.
That's nice. And starting, of course, talking about your franchise, and the remake of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 is just about to release. And how does it feel
with the notes
to see another classic chapter of your game legacy making a comeback more than 20 years later?
It's amazing. It's beyond any dream come true. I could have imagined that we would still be doing the games, that the technology has come so far that we can justify remaking number 3 and number 4 and actually adding new elements to it, new maps, new skaters, new tricks. I mean, I'm so excited.
That's the European spelling, really?
It's been a long time coming.
With an E on the end?
Yeah, definitely. So, but is there something you're really proud of, speaking about the new remakes? So are there, you mentioned new tricks or skaters, are there parts you said, okay, from my heart, this is really cool to have it in the new series?
Okay. I would say the new skaters. The fact that we're representing skateboarding, skateboarding culture, the diversity, the inclusion. I think that our roster, our cast of characters represents skateboarding much better than it ever has.
What is your part in bringing out a new remake of that?
What's my role in that?
Yeah, right, that's the question.
I think my role is to keep suggesting it, keep asking about it,
Makes sense.
Trying to encourage it, and this time the actual game greenlight came from Activision because they found a new studio and they said this studio is capable of doing 3 and 4.
Okay, great.
I was hoping that 3 and 4 was going to come right after 1 and 2, but for a series of reasons, it couldn't.
Yeah, okay.
And so when they called me and said we're ready to do it, I was surprised.
And what does it mean to you to see?
Imagine if they just keep going. You think they'll keep going? I feel like if this one performs like roughly like they expect, then we'll get Thug. I think we'll definitely get Thug. I don't know if it'll be 1 and 2 or whatever, but imagine if they just keep going. They go, I tell you what would be the ultimate redemption is they do 1 and 2, 3 and 4, Thug 1, 2, and then they get to ride, and then now the technology finally is at the point that they do ride again. That would be insane. That would be like, imagine VR ride, like the VR tech gets good and they make VR ride and it's successful. That would be unbelievable. That would be like the ultimate, like, let me keep trying.
That impact still growing, especially with new audiences discovering skating through these remakes.
I think that's the ultimate validation and accolade I could ever think of, is that emulating skateboarding would inspire people to go do
AR ride.
When we first set out for the game, I thought that maybe skateboarders would be inspired to buy game systems and play it, and to me that would be the biggest success. And the opposite thing happened in that a whole gaming generation saw skateboarding maybe for the first time, and many of them were inspired to try it.
I mean, skating is a hard or tough sport. You need to figure out how to do an ollie for, well, I don't know, I did it 1 year, I think. And then it makes a click and then it's good. But new skaters have the same approach. Playing game and grabbing the skateboard, that is cool. Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think that's what I'm most proud of, is that it represented skateboarding so well that it actually inspired people to try it for real.
So I'm a drummer myself too, and of course music is a big topic in your series and has always been a huge part of it, and it is still in part 3 and 4, of course. You have new bands in it, and how much influence do you have over which bands?
What's up, Gia? I didn't think I care too much about the music. Well, let's see if he has anything else cool.
Well, thank you. Thanks for your support.
No worries. You've helped bring skateboarding into mainstream culture through real tricks, TV, movies, and of course games. And looking back, so what had the bigger cultural impact? Skate videos or Tony Hawk's Pro Skater?
I think it's a two-part question. I think that perhaps more people got into skateboarding through our video game series, but then those people learned the evolution and the techniques of skateboarding through skate videos.
Okay. Next one is a little bit.
Yeah, I think Tony Hawk's Pro Skater was the spark. Because, like, you initially need, like, a spark to sort of, like, change your behavior or whatever. They play the game, they see the game, it gives a spark, they go, oh, skating's interesting, I'll look more into it, I'll go to the skate shop, oh, skating's on TV now, I will watch it. Imagine if we could get some statistic of how many people got into skating from the initial spark of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Like, that's my origin. I had a skateboard, I had a bad skateboard, and then I saw the game, and I saw the videos in the game, and I was like, oh, that's what you meant to do on the skateboard? You meant to jump? I didn't know that. Yeah, I was one of them. My loves went to. Yeah, me too. My brother too. Like a lot of other people as well. Even I think Mowgli says his was like Tony Hawk's Underground or something. But yeah, it's very interesting. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 made me buy a skateboard. It's crazy. It's crazy that it can have such strong influence. Like it's almost hard to comprehend. All right, I think that's it for the Tony Hawk interviews. Those were all very interesting. I honestly like the BBC one the most. But yeah, shout out to Tony Hawk and these interviewees. And check out the game. Check out Rick's review on the game on the main channel.